Welcome to Chronic Combat Conversations, a live look at our best bets, picks, and predictions for every UFC event. With your hosts, TB Scouting MMA and
The Guru, back again for UFC Las Vegas from the theater at the Virgin Hotels in Nevada. We've got Peter Yan taking on Merab Dvalishvili in your bantamweight title contender eliminator, right? I mean, we still got Sean O'Malley and Cheeto Vera and Corey Sandhagen up there, but I mean, this is very, very important for who will get that title shot. But before we can get into that, we've got a special guest in the building from Plays and Fades YouTube channel. I mean, if you're not following that, take a pause. Maybe just go run over there. Go subscribe to him. I'm sure you're already doing that. We got Gordo Gambles in the building once again. Super happy to have you here, man.
Super happy to be back. Every time I hear the intro from you guys, gets me hyped up. I'm ready to go. And guess what? This week you can throw in some DraftKings prediction into that. We can throw in a bunch of stuff. It's a great card. I'm excited to provide you with my knowledge and everything of the research I've done. And I'm happy to talk fights with you guys. Quickly before I do, though, I have to say a big apology to Chronic Combat because today will be a shorter video from my end. I will give you all the information I can, but one of my best friends, shout out to my boy Dion. It is his birthday today. I am going to head out to hang out with him for a bit, but don't worry, I will be back if you guys will have me. I love breaking down fights with you guys.
No, we appreciate it. And listen, if you got something, spark it up, drink it up, or just get ready to listen up and do it for our boy Dion too. So shout out Dion, happy birthday, bud.
let's go.
Enjoy taking Gordo from us, but you know it's all right. We forgive you, bud. It's your birthday. Only once a year, right? So, dude, this fight's about to be some shit, though. No?
Like this man.
I feel like they usually sneak this one in a pay-per-view somewhere, but they gave it its own main event spot.
All action, baby. I mean, one thing you can guarantee from Merab is that man's going to be on a fucking mission, no matter if he's halfway knocked out or for whether he's fully there. But the dude is always, I mean, he's the machine for a reason, right? So
yeah, with that, I mean, right? Did you guys see that video of him sinking in the choke on that girl, and she just grabs his nutsack and like yanks that shit? And what does he do? He doesn't laugh. Everybody's laughing, joking. Straight faced, still sinking in the choke because he's just the machine.
So the machine faces no mercy because we got Petr Yan on the other side of things here, and back in a 5-round setting. Ain't Petr Yan happy about that? We got minus 255 for no mercy versus plus 215 on the machine. Merab Dvalishvili. Come on, Merab! Is Matt Serra going to be back in his corner or what's going on?
I haven't seen. I think Matt Serra, I feel like, stepped away from cornering. No,
yeah, I feel like Aljo. I would have been salty too, quite honestly. But yeah, Aljo kind of turned him off to the whole thing. But man, if there's anyone that I want to hear screaming names, especially Merab's name, it's Matt Serra. But we got Lou Betch in the house. Speaking of people that we love hearing their voice,
dude, he hit that yam bag last week, right?
Ooh, yeah,
shout out Lou.
Love Lou. If you're not following Lou and MMA Engine, my God, what are you doing? So
can't forget Monk.
But listen, I mean, Petr Yan minus 255, man, there's still meat on the bone there for me. I just think Merab, he's shown his limitations time and time again by needing to take down guys, more than 10 times a fight. It generally means you're not holding guys down. And as much as I gave Mateusz Gamrot credit for his 15 takedowns per 15 minutes, here's Merab with 16 takedown attempts per 15 minutes. We found a better one in just next week. So, damn, man, I mean, at the end of the day, though, I mean, his teammate, the better wrestler and grappler, Aljamain Sterling, the guy with the better top control, in his second matchup, where he prepared even more specifically, was still only able to land 2 out of 22 takedowns. And yes, he gets the backpack, he gets the back control, but Aljamain Sterling usually is subbing guys at that point. So I gotta think that even if Merab does successfully land a takedown on Petr Yan, and let's remember, Jose Aldo stuffs 16 takedowns against Merab Dvalishvili in his last fight. I think Petr Yan is a much better athlete at this stage. He's actually younger than Merab, even with all his increased experience. And I think those 4 losses just came against much better competition. Aljamain Sterling twice. Yeah, Merab's in the game room, getting the game plan, but I just don't think he has the same tools as Aljamain to execute it. He only has a 1-inch reach advantage. He's giving up height to Petr Yan, one of the shorter guys in the bantamweight division, and those advantages that we saw from Sean O'Malley, from Aljamain Sterling, the height, the reach, being the younger guy, that's just not the case here with Merab. And I think the machine comes back down to earth, and maybe we might have to call him the human after this. Because I think Petr Yan's going to show some spilt blood. I think he's going to find a finish. And Guru's got some ideas about when exactly that might take place. But I think if you get Yan inside the distance,
I think that's actually the best way to play it now that I'm starting to see the lines. What do you have a line on inside the distance?
Well, under 4.5 is plus 175 just in general. Like, I think they're taking Merab's like win equity and just like his durability. But I mean, Marlon Moraes had that guy literally turned around running backwards away from him. And I think Yan is just much more technical to actually get the job done.
Yeah. So Yan by finish is plus 220 if you got the balls for it. And sorry for running away. My cat ran in with a twisty tie, like grabbed a twisty tie like out of the garbage. And if you like swallow those, like that's bad news bears. So I had to chase him. Anyway, I've got Petr Yan round 4-5 decision. It's minus 120 on FanDuel. I was really hoping for better odds there, but I mean minus 120 really isn't that bad. And I just, if this was a 3-round fight, right? Like how would we be handicapping it? And I think everybody would be feeling very confident that it goes the distance. I do feel that those later rounds, those championship rounds, is where Petr Yan turns it on. Petr Yan continues to stuff takedowns, uses his counter wrestling to reverse position, and starts to hurt Merab, who Merab has shown to just get into these freaking wars with Marlon Moraes. Like that fight was fucking awesome. Like that was nuts. But like it didn't need to be, right? Like that's kind of crazy. Like he got completely obliterated in round 1, came back and obliterated him in round 2. So, I'm not sure that he's fought anybody like Petr Yan. And I mean, I guess that's really easy thing to say. There's really nobody like Petr Yan. Right. So we picked him against Jose Aldo as a dog. So we'll start there, right? Like I felt like that was a really good bet, and obviously it was. But if you would have told me that Merab was going to get 0 takedowns, do you still feel confident betting this? Maybe I'm silly or stupid. I was going to be like, maybe not so much. Turns out he holds him against the cage, and that's enough. It's like a takedown, except instead of on the floor, you're holding him against the cage. So in that respect, that was awesome. That type of game plan is not going to work here. And holding Petr Yan down is not going to work here. And if you think he's just going to hold him in a body triangle, Aljamain Sterling style, for 15 minutes, like that's not going to work here. So I like Petr Yan, and I like it later. Obviously I ran away. Did Gordo, did you go?
Not yet. I'm ready to go.
Goodness. Thank you.
And let me just say that Aldo fight, lucky enough to be there in person. Great fight to watch. Not so much. I'm just kidding. I was so hyped up for that, and it just didn't live up. That's okay. Merab Dvalishvili showed that he will do exactly what it takes to win a fight, and that is why he is one of my favorite fighters. And I'll tell you why he's my favorite fighter is because I'm a DraftKings player first, and this guy is DraftKings gold. This guy, because he has no control time at all, he is going to go out there and he is going to take people down repeatedly because he cannot keep them down. What happens when you get takedowns repeatedly? You score well on DraftKings. This guy has 2 losses and he still averages 113 points across his fights. He's gone out there, scored 163 against Moraes, 140 against Lopez. Great DraftKings player. The way it correlates to betting, though, is if you are not able to take somebody down and control them, those takedowns almost aren't as important anymore because the guy popped right back up. He didn't establish any control. You didn't go out there and you didn't secure yourself any points in the judges' scorecards too much. And against a guy in Yan who is going to make you pay every second you are at range, it doesn't seem as important. So when I step back and I see, okay, Merab Dvalishvili is a great DraftKings play, but how often does he win this fight? How often does he go out there? Does he establish control? How often does he get a finish? I can't see him doing that much. I know Tajik is saying Merab by TKO. I don't know. I know he's got some great calls in the past, so I can't discredit him. Tajik does what Tajik does, but Petr Yan has not shown that same chin deficiency. He took a punch from Sean O'Malley that Merab I don't think could ever deliver on his own, and he ate it, was back in the fight. To me, I think Petr Yan is good enough defensively, both on the feet and on the ground, to withstand that. I think it's Petr Yan's fight to lose. I think as the fight goes on, as he has Merab at distance, able to piece him up, win the fight. And in a day and age where we're tracking damage way more than anything else, I think that Petr Yan inflicts more damage over 25 minutes. And for that reason, I do think he wins this fight.
Yeah. I love it. And official pick is Petr Yan. He'll be a 2-leg parlay piece for me. If you're following me on Twitter, you already know what that parlay is. If not, we'll let you know in a little bit. And then number 2, we got the prop inside the distance. Anything else from you boys before we get to our co-main here?
No, I just think it's I mean, just quickly, like, how did everybody feel about that Sean O'Malley fight? Like, I was in the middle of traveling to Cabo during UFC 280. So, like, I had choppy ass connection watching the fight. I finally got to rewatch it this week. Maybe it's hindsight knowing the results. I don't know. I'm trying to be as honest as I can be. I kind of scored round 1 for O'Malley. It was really, really close. I don't mind anybody scoring round 1 for Yan. Round 2, obviously, I think that's fair with Yan. And then round 3, I gave it to O'Malley. So I wanted to play him plus 330. I don't know why I didn't. What did you guys think?
Yeah, I think, again, the argument of what are the judges scoring, whether it be damage, whether it be control. I just think that the judges who were there had in their mind that they're going to judge optics in terms of the striking way more than optics in the grappling. And although Yan went out there, he landed 6 takedowns, they didn't count for as much as the distance strikes O'Malley was landing. For that reason, if you look at it from that point of view, you can see why they gave O'Malley the win. Although I think that to most people's minds who have been watching MMA for as long as people have, that looks like a fight that Yan should win. It's just how are you scoring? What criteria you take in mind? So I'm not there to dispute it. I think that it's just the mindset the judges had that night.
I think that's very wise of you to say. When we had Eric Nixick on, he kind of echoed the same sentiments in terms of scoring criteria and which judges are looking for what. So very, very wise. Awesome. TB, anything to add before we?
No, that was I was watching that fight live with a bet on Yan. I turned to my girlfriend as the results were coming and said, I'm about to lose this bet. So it was what I expected watching it live. Optics, But anyways, here we go. We got our heavyweight co-main event. We got Alexander Volkov versus Alexander Romanov. Choose your spelling. They're fighting for the honor of the best spelling of the first name. And we got, what is it? It's Drago, right? That's our one nickname. And then
King Kong.
King Kong. Yeah, that speaks for itself. I like those nicknames. No need to add a TB nickname.
Wow. Two in a row. Where are we?
Just saying. We'll get there when we need to. Okay, people. But yeah, I mean, Volkov has some big measurables here. I think Tom Aspinall matched up a little bit better as far as size go. I think Tom Aspinall is a bit of a taller and more skilled heavyweight than Romanov. And I mean, realistically, if you're betting Romanov, I don't hate it at all. Just why would you even touch the minus 150 money line? It's Romanov round 1 or 2. No, and I can totally see it. Straight armbar city, anything. Like it's Romanov if he gets the takedown and he starts King Kong smashing. I mean, for sure. I could totally understand. But at the end of the day, if the finish doesn't come, it's not going to be pretty. And maybe Volkov is too depleted at that point. Maybe Volkov just ain't the same guy that he used to be. And if that's the case, I get it. But if it's the Volkov we saw in the Blades fight, where at least like he's fighting to get back to his feet, by round 2, we know what happens to Alexander Romanov, elevation or not. It's just Volkov is not the best grappler, but he's at least a little bit competent. I just think Aspinall was just such a better athlete. And if Romanov is just that much stronger, yeah, it's straight armbar city again from like crucifix or some shit. Like it might happen. But then again, it's like Marcos Rogerio de Lima gets to round 2. So what? Marcin Tybura doesn't land a single takedown on Volkov. But at the end of the day, it's like, well, you talk about the athleticism of Tybura versus a guy like Romanov, and it's like, well, where does he fall on the Aspinall scale? So ultimately, I have to pick Romanov here. But when I'm talking about my money, I'll go with like a Romanov round 1 prop. And if not, I'll be looking to get back in the fight on a live betting entry. So
I think what you just touched on for me is like my biggest takeaway of this fight. If you're betting Romanov minus 150, you need to get your account locked up and probably seized from you, because you had all this time to get him at pick him at minus 110. It was there last week. Like, don't sleep on these lines. So to pay all that vig at minus 150 in a crazy heavyweight fight where a guy has, like Alexander Volkov, has so much experience and size on him, and Romanov has shown himself to just be complete, like a complete cardio disaster. This is an absolute live betting opportunity. You like Volkov and he's surviving round one? Great. He's going to be plus 300, plus 400. Take your stab then, because then he'll continue to survive. And, if you're hopefully right, you win the fight. And if you like Romanov, then, I mean, you're either taking him. I think you take him with this play I'm about to give you, which is Romanov round 1 or 2 plus 150. I think you take him there at plus money.
Okay.
Or you played him earlier at pick'em. And still we're playing light. This is sloppy heavyweight MMA. I mean, I'm not sold here. I mean, Volkov's best win as of late to me is the Tybura win, and that's a fucking slop fest, man. That's not a great win. The Jairzinho fight, like, I want to see Jairzinho go out on his shield a bit. I think it was a little early. I get that his mouthpiece goes flying, so it's kind of a bad look for Herb Dean, but yeah, I like Romanov round 1 or 2, but I don't hate anybody taking a dog shot, especially when the line gets inflated. So please, Gordo, what do you got?
Yeah, this fight is very, very binary for me. You have a grappler who does the best work early on and fades down the stretch versus a guy who just is always in the fight, and a guy who's going to have the superior cardio. And I really like, well, sort of. I'm on the under here, and I don't have the same balls to play it like Lags. I think Lags is a great look there. Start round 3. I paid a bit more for the under 2.5 because I think Volkov round 3 is definitely a live possibility because Romanov does fade down the stretch. I have no question that Romanov is going to be able to get takedowns early on. I think he has the ability, the explosiveness to get those takedowns of Volkov early on. That's not a question to me. The question is, can he get Volkov out of there? And personally, I think he can, but if he can't, he's going to struggle. He's going to fade down the stretch. He's going to, well, every round starts on the feet, right? So round 3, he's going to be gassing against a guy in Volkov who carries power late and who has fought the better level of competition. So to me, it's just a question of, can Romanov get him out of there? I personally think he can. And for that reason, good DraftKings play, but also a good spot we're looking to bet the under. I don't know why the discrepancy is so wide between the under 2.5 and the fight doesn't go. I'd love to get those extra 2.5 minutes for the fight doesn't go, but I settle with the under 2.5 at minus 163. Don't think that line's right. Honestly, I do think the fight doesn't start round 3. Bet that Lags put out there hits as well, so you can go with that. I personally with the under 2.5. I think it's just a matter of, can Romanov get it round 1 or can he not? And I personally think he can. It should be a fun fight.
Yeah, and that was the one thing I did want to bring up, and I didn't say it in my original thought. When you're fighting somebody like, right, in his last fight, Marcin Tybura, who he 10-8s in round 1 and then loses round 2 and 3 to get a draw, right? No, it should have been. Sorry, it absolutely should have been a draw by anybody's clear logical definition, but somehow it's a majority decision loss for him.
Either way, terrible. Either way, though, it's potential fraud alert for me.
Right? No, I don't. But here's why not. And there's two things. Number one is, and again, I think it's kind of slept on, and I actually think it's kind of a big deal, even though he said today at the press conference that he wouldn't cult behind it. It's at altitude. A fight at altitude is a huge deal. Salt Lake City. I even think Usman may have even suffered.
What's the excuse for the Espino fight?
Number two, and this is where I'm getting to. I think when you're fighting somebody like Marcin Tybura, when you're fighting somebody like Juan Espino, who are going to push you at each and every level and exchange of the grappling, it gets you more tired, right? If he's going to fight your hands on the takedown, if he's going to do everything with the right skill and the right positioning to make you work in each position, that gets you more and more tired. That's just how it is. That's what skill level is for. So I think somebody like Volkov, who maybe has decent enough get-up game, right, which he shows you versus Blades, who Blades, for as great a wrestler as he is, doesn't have the best top control. He's shown that he goes down. He's a tree. He goes right down to the floor. And somebody like Romanov, who's going to be so much thicker, he's a fucking bear. He's going to pick him up and slam him down. And I just think that, and I just think that but not even just round 1. I think for 7-8 minutes, I think he's live to get that finish. So,
all right. Well, the round one, round two being plus money.
I wanted to bring that up because I just don't think Volkov fights hard enough in those positions to tire him out the same way you saw Romanov tire out in the last one.
All right. I'll take those notes, and we'll see. We'll meet back here next week, buddy. I just say, whatever. Anyways, we gotta let's do it all over again. We tried this a couple weeks ago. We said, fuck it. We'll try it again at 225. Okay. Maybe we won't get food poisoning / weight cut. 215. Okay, sorry. But either way, catch weight bout. We're not seeing full weight cut for both guys on 2 weeks' notice. That was a huge question of mine coming into this. And hey, listen, we have a video out there, Nikita Krylov versus Ryan Spann. If you want my really super winded long breakdown, I'm sure Guru will give you one. But ultimately,
dude,
this fight being 3 rounds makes it much more likely, and for Krylov having to be the one that pulled out last time makes it much more interesting from a money line standpoint. And like my dog Dirty Reg is saying, Spann by decision 10-1. He could win 2 rounds. He couldn't win 3. That's why I didn't like him in a 5-round fight. But now things are getting a little more interesting, especially given what's happened. So what you guys think? I'm a little scared to like flag in the ground, but ultimately, I mean, like, what do you got?
I'm gonna try to keep it short since apparently I'm long-winded. The stats still clearly favor Krylov, so I still kind of want to pick him. If you guys remember from the last show, I had an early line on him at -150. That obviously didn't matter because the fight got scrapped. He's at -170. That line never existed. Not playing him at -170. Especially like TB said, dude pulls out, undisclosed reason. We don't know why. Probably not COVID, but diarrhea. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. They didn't say weight cut complications. They kept it really hush hush. Booked it 2 weeks later. Like just super sketch. So like TV says, in terms of the questionables, the money line dog shot kind of makes it more interesting, especially which to me is kind of shaping up to be a chalky card. So still kind of lean Krylov. Don't hate a dog shot. I don't really want to play the fight. Just kind of want to watch it already. What do you think, Gordo? Maybe you can talk me into something.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be that guy to do so because first time this fight was scheduled, no action on it.
Because you're a good friend. You're not going to make me lose money on something that we don't need to.
Yeah, I look at this fight and I say, okay, Nikita Krylov is the superior fighter in my opinion, but I've thought that against Ryan Spann's previous opponents as well. And I cost myself money. I bet Reyes, I bet Kujalaba. That came back to haunt me. I'm not betting on Krylov here. Ryan Spann, although I don't think he's a world beater, is a very, very opportunistic fighter and has the ability to hop on a finish anytime. He is great at doing that. He has a lot of power, good guillotine. And I think he's able to do that against Krylov here too. Who do I think is going to have more minute winning potential and be winning this fight up until he isn't? Nikita Krylov. And I think he has more path to victory as well. I think this fight ends one way or the other. Sure, the under is juice, so maybe we don't know how that gets there. But I do think that it should be Krylov winning until he's not. For that reason, it's a fight I'm more so targeting from DraftKings instead of on the money line. Not a fight I want too much financial investment in, but it should be a very entertaining one for as long as it lasts.
I like that. Very nice.
Yeah, I like it. I don't even know if you want to even play something like fight doesn't start round 2 at like even money. Like it's so sketched. No way. It's just so sketchy.
Nah. Yeah. So I mean, that's.
I like what you said, and I agreed. Krylov should be the minute winner, but he's a little sketchball. He'll make a couple mistakes out there. So.
All right. So here we go. We got a featherweight bout here. We got Ricardo Ramos versus Austin Lingo, duo Lingo, for one, and
you like that bird, huh?
Oh yeah, lights out Austin Lingo. That is like solid enough, but
No, I like it.
I like duo Lingo.
No, it's
and then Ricardo spinning elbow Ramos. He doesn't have a proper nickname, so
yes, he does. It's something in Brazil. All
right, well, it's not on UFC stats, so
Carcachina. I don't know. That sounds stupid.
I don't know. I'm definitely not going to trust you trying to read Portuguese.
Well, it's on Tapology, okay?
Oh, it's on Tapology. Okay. Well, UFC Stats doesn't have it as their official nickname. Anywho, I think Ricardo Ramos is officially -360 for a reason. And I think he's got Lingo pretty much outclassed in the majority of departments here. He's like a tiny bit shorter, but he's been filling out throughout his career. I think he's pretty solid back foot. pretty solid defense overall. And I get it. He's got like not the best stats, but he's one of those guys that came into UFC so young. I mean, he's only 27 right now. He's at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 fights in the UFC at 27 years old. So I can like take some of his earlier performances with a little bit of a grain of salt. It's just that Zubaira Tukhugov performance wasn't necessarily like the best taste in my mouth, but I also just think Lingo benefited a couple times from guys slowing down against him. 1, Kilburn, 2, Saldana. And I think that, you know, if you're able to implement a wrestling game plan on him, that you'll be successful. And I think Ramos has shown he's willing to win the fights the way that he needs to. And I think he'll be safe on the feet. But if not, I know he'll be safe on the ground. So minus 360, I'll have that in a parlay. Not with Jan. I found a different second leg that'll be coming up.
Yeah, Lingo is not necessarily going to be the minute winner, and his best path is decision or some sort of freak knockout. So I don't really like the fight for him at all. He hasn't fought in 19 months, so this is basically just to get him back into the UFC and honestly finish out his contract because this is his 4th fight. So
talk about pull-out game strong.
Yeah, listen, if he can win, maybe they re-sign him. If he loses, I'm not sure if they're as interested. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. I don't know. Ricardo Ramos was somebody that you could have had last week at minus 2. I have it right here. Minus 285. And now he's minus 360. So that line has continued to get crazy. I think he wins, but I don't think you should pay minus 360 for him. I kind of like
sub at plus 225.
Yeah, sub isn't bad. Maybe just fight. Maybe just for him to get the finish. In general, once the fight doesn't go the distance.
Fight doesn't. Well, the under 2.5 is minus 130. So,
fight doesn't goes best market wide minus 120.
Minus 120 market wide. Okay, right now on DraftKings at least minus 165.
Sheesh. Well, so hopefully, if you can get your hands on a minus 120, fight doesn't go the distance. I love that play. I think that there's some violence here, and I think it even saves you if your chalky favorite makes a mistake.
That's fair.
What do you
got, Gordo?
Yeah, sorry, I was looking at that line. It's crazy to see some market discrepancies there. I did my own breakdown this morning, and I spent a lot more time on other fights. This is one of my longest YouTube videos, and this is a fight I spent no time really talking about because it seems pretty clear cut. Ricardo Ramos is the favorite here for very good reason. I don't think the line is too far off. I think Ricardo Ramos should be winning this fight a lot of the time. He is a guy who's grown up in the UFC. He's gotten a lot of experience there, and he has skills wherever the fight goes. Whereas Lingo, I see as fighting lower level of competition, very basic meat and potatoes kind of guy who sure he has the ability to get that knockout, but I do think he'll be a class both on the ground and speed on the feet as well. And I do think it's Ricardo Ramos' fight to lose. He should get it done a lot of the time, but how much value do you have in that money line? Can you trust him to finish a guy like Lingo who has been very, very tough so far? That's the real question I have. Kind of a pass fight for me.
That's fair. I'll pull a guru. I don't hate it. But no, for sure, man. I like that. And the guru, any final thoughts on that one?
No, I Gordo's always sharp as hell, man. I almost was thinking like a round 3 decision type prop for him because if he gets the finish, it's tired when he's late. You can't just stand and strike with Lingo. He's a great boxer, so you got to wrestle. And as we can see on the stats, he does it enough. So I don't know why you're bouncing me. Yep, 2.5 takedowns for 15. So that's solid enough for me.
All right, fair enough. All right, well, here we go. We're flying on down to Said Nurmagomedov versus Jonathan Dragon Martinez. Said, not that kind of Nurmagomedov. He's the striking guy. He's like when you get to choose your Pokemon, it's not the fire Pokemon. It's like it's not Charmander. You're choosing Squirtle here. It's a completely different archetype of Nurmagomedov.
Are you good right now? You having a stroke? What's happening?
I'm legitimately passed out. What happened? Like old school style. Oh, I blacked out. What just happened?
Did you even play Pokemon? I feel like you didn't even play. Pokemon.
Yeah, I did. I had a Game Boy. I wasn't that broke.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, like I legitimately have zero money, but Game Boy,
All
Sega
right,
Genesis.
break down the
had it.
fights.
All right, Said Nurmagomedov, man. I mean, like I said, he's not that type of Nurmagomedov. However, he does still shoot over 5 takedowns per 15, just with absolutely zero success, and he's been out controlled 5-1. I get it. He's also got nasty chokes, and dangerous to get them at any point. He fights way too fucking close, and it's minus 240. And I think that Martinez throws better combinations. I think Martinez consistently lands more volume in his fights. And I think that, listen, if there's a guy that actually, Martinez lands just about the same amount of takedowns per 15. Listen, level of competition, styles, what guys are actually trying to do in fights. Those are all different things. But at the end of the day, I don't think either guy's really looking to wrestle here. We're getting a 15-minute kickboxing fight unless something goes wrong in my mind.
I'm not fully convinced on that. And you look at who Jonathan Martinez has beaten it. And listen, truthfully, 4-ounce gloves with everything that we've seen in the octagon. I don't hate anybody taking a stab on Jonathan Martinez. I really, really don't. But if we just look at who he's beat, I can't even pronounce that guy's name. I forgot his name, but
Dvalishvili.
Yeah, like that guy's not good at all. So that doesn't mean much. Alejandro Perez is probably his best win. That's not good either. Vince Morales, no longer with the promotion, and Cub Swanson making his debut down a weight class for absolutely no reason at all. Like, it's just, they're not good wins at all. And he's fighting somebody that not only has a few good wins in Cody Stamen, Douglas Silva de Andrade, who's one of your favorite fighters, TB, and
Yep.
I mean, and again, in an unbelievable fight versus Romanov, is Said Nurmagomedov's clear problem his 25% opponent control rate? Absolutely. Is he giving up 472 seconds of control time to Said Kakhramonov? Absolutely. But it's because he's too content to be on his back searching for subs, not because he stinks. And guess what? He gets the win versus Said Kakhramonov with a ninja choke. Unbelievable. Sneaky, sir. Like, crazy stuff. So I think if you like this fight, I think you like violence. Because like you guys are saying, or TB saying, we didn't get to hear Gordo yet, minus 240 is a little too steep. I do think he gets it done. He's who I'm picking, but why not just take some violence? Fight doesn't go the distance at plus 110. Like, I think Said can easily get it done by knockout or sub if it happens. And if Jonathan Martinez gets it done, I think maybe he gets a flash knockout or something, because Said's been a little crazy. I don't know.
What you got?
Yeah,
Gordo's pondering it. Listen, feel free to not don't trip on being respectful. Like, feel free to say that that's shit. Like, tell me.
No. It's an MMA fight, so variance is king here. But I think we're looking long term. What's the most likely outcome? I do not think it's Martinez knockout. I think Martinez's path to victory is being his technical self and pot shotting his way to a decision win, which I do not think is impossible. And I think that he definitely is a very, very fundamentally sound fighter. But I think that there's two ways you can interpret a line, right? When you're watching the fight itself, sure, Said Nurmagomedov might not look minus 240 out there if he's winning a close decision. But I think that if we're looking at probability of winning, the line's probably about right in my opinion. And I could be wrong there. I just think Said Nurmagomedov wins this fight more times than not. And I get the technical ability of Martinez, and he's great. But I think if we look at the fighter with more paths to victory, whether it be fighting a guy with durability concerns like Jonathan Martinez, whether it be a guy who has grappling in his back pocket. And although Martinez has a great takedown defense, I do agree it should be a fight that plays out on the feet. In his back pocket, Nurmagomedov is a great grappler, and I think that he can throw that out there to win a round sometimes. But the most important thing to me is optics here. If this is going to the judges' scorecards, who is landing the more powerful shots? Who's landing more impactful shots? Who is going to be throwing out more volume? And although Martinez is going to be bread and butter, very technically sound, I don't think he is going to have that same minute winning capability. So to me, it is Said Nurmagomedov. I know it might, when the fight's happening, it may not look like he's a minus 250 favorite. I just do think that he wins at that kind of clip that the line's indicating. So for me, it's him. I'm going to call a decision. I think the finish equity relies on Said Nurmagomedov, so maybe even like a finish only line, which is probably juiced. But to me, give me Said, and you are paying a tax because of his name, but I do think he wins a large amount of the time.
Damn. It's basically the same as his money line, honestly, if you really want the decision or even finish only. Either one is nearly the
Still,
same as the money line. And thank you for calling it out. And if we really do look at the total finish percentages, right? Said Nurmagomedov in their career, Said 47%, Jonathan Martinez 52%. I actually feel like mathematically, and I'm not a math guy, I feel like the value is even almost on the fight bet wise, like to go the distance, right? Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say actually
they're
it was on
literally
the other
only
side of what you
if they're
had.
literally only finishing like at 50%, which is kind of actually like low for UFC fighters, like there's a pretty good chance that neither of them finish each other because they're not inherently vicious
Right.
finishers.
Right. I think like the calf kicks and body kicks of the southpaw Jonathan Martinez would add up more than anything else in the fight. And if Jonathan Martinez is resorting to grappling, I think he's going to get submitted. I think that he's content to play off the back foot, and I think it's more often than not that I've seen Nurmagomedov slow down, and he only really throws one strike at a time.
New point. I'm totally off that play. It's a fight goes the distance, and but seriously, here's why. Think about it. He submits Cody Stamann and he knocks out Mark Striegel. What are those guys doing? They're trying to grapple with him. They're trying to get in close, and he knocks them out. Guys that are trying to stay at range like Andrade, or whatever. So
I agree with Daz right now. The fact that we aren't rushing over to the pleasure man, we got some issues right now.
All right, yeah, let's get to the pleasure man. So I appreciate that. I like that. Now. I'm glad I'm totally off that play.
Gordo, we know you're on a time frame, so whenever it is that you need to have to tap out, we understand that you got that going.
Are you think I'm going to miss the pleasure man?
Let's go. All right,
come on.
Good. All right, so we got Vitor Petrino versus Anton Pleasureman Turkalj. I mean, the nickname is just such a big difference.
I mean, he's got a nickname, Petrino.
What is it on Tapology?
It's Brazilian.
All right, so
it translates to icon.
A cow. Icon.
In English, it's icon, which is it could be better. Maybe he needs a TV nickname.
Okay, maybe he does need it. I gotta get his ass.
You actually need to look at the names before the podcast and maybe think of something.
Vitor Pretty Petrino.
Just looking at top of my head, aren't you?
Okay, all right. Well, so I think one of the interesting things here for me is that Turkalj kind of came in with a lot of juice on a contender series, but he chose the wrong episode to be fighting on. Like the one episode where all the winners didn't get signed was his episode because Dana was pissed about the Joe Pfeiffer shit or whatever.
Well, it was week one. Week one. Listen, it was week one, and the first fight was Alessandro Costa, who ended up getting signed anyway. And he just decisionates, and nobody throws any strikes in that first round. Then our boy Dennis Bazookia gets a decision, and then Turkalj just literally sits on top of him, gets a decision, and then Pfeiffer, more like Joe Pfeiffer, comes out, gets a first round knockout. Shout out my boy.
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately, watching Turkalj get fucking smoked by Almeida, I think has made this line a lot closer than it should be. I think Turkalj should, Petrino, he goes back and forth in his contender series appearance, and they're trading control time. Even gets put in a little submission attempt. I know he gets a reversal and all that, and that's where he ends up getting his control because his opponent is the one working to take him down. And I think Turkalj shown me that he could do that on a consistent basis. You just can't fucking do that against Jonathan Almeida. So I get it, but I'm gonna take Turkalj here. Give me some of that action.
That's interesting because that line is starting to slip, and people I believe are on mostly the Vitor Petroni side, and I think it's interesting.
Petrino.
I feel like they kind of have very, very similar tape, honestly. Again, he doesn't get the call, but he gets, hey, man, how would you like to short notice against Jonathan Almeida at catchweight and lose that undefeated record you got? And he does that to get into the UFC. So now he's fighting a guy that did get the contract. And, again, similar levels of no competition, like their debuts against 5-0, 0-0, 1-17, 0-6, 0-0. That's for Petrino. I don't know why I'm having a mental block. And then Pleasure Man is 0-1, 0-1, 2-4, 4-2. Like they're not fighting anybody, man. So it's really, really tough. I feel like Vitor maybe has a little bit more of like the murdered, like kill with one shot type deal. But I think you made a lot of interesting points in terms of Anton's maybe grappling ability to put it on. Like he survived decent enough for Shelton. Like I was kind of sort of maybe a little impressed.
Yeah, I will say I didn't waste time putting his UFC stats on here because like it just
There are none. Yeah, no, that's
Yeah,
gonna
no,
just decimate the poor guy.
yeah. Let's let him get another opportunity.
I think, and maybe I'm calling for him too much. I just think this is a violent spot. Like maybe even fight doesn't start round 3. Like I think these boys are coming for it. So Gordo, please. I know you were itching to break down this one.
I am itching to break this one down. And again, like I said at the start, unfortunately, I had some plans I forgot about. So this will be my last breakdown for now. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to promise you to come back with the same intensity that I'm going to break down this one with, because this fight really it makes me feel happy because it's a fun fight, not only due to the nickname, but it's just a good stylistic matchup. So to me, this is a matchup of a guy who is just complete hey, you guys are smart guys. Type 2 muscle fibers, who just completely explosive, all athleticism in Vitor Petrino, versus a guy in Anton Turkalj who isn't the best athlete, but he will wear you down. He isn't the best technically, but he will do exactly what it takes to win, whether it be control your back for 15 minutes and not get a contract in Dana White Contender Series. But he'll come back to the UFC and he'll fight the worst matchup you can ever get in your UFC debut in Jailton Almeida. I mean, taking this fight on short notice, up a weight class, we're in a fight where you get taken down 3 times, only land 1 significant strike against Jailton, and then get finished in the first round. He had to pay his dues. He didn't have an entertaining fight, and now he had to go in there and do whatever that was against Jailton Almeida. Now he gets a new guy here, Vitor Petrino, a guy who is just a athletic specimen, who isn't the best technically either, but everything he does is so explosive that he wins fights. Against regional scene guys who, like you said, have horrible records, he's able to do that and do well in doing so because he tries to kill people and take their heads off. Additionally, due to that athleticism, he does have decent takedown defense. He does have good ground and pound. He does have good offensive wrestling. But all this comes with a bit of a lack of technique because he doesn't need it when you're throwing with that much fight-ending intention. To me, it's pretty simple. Petrino has the X factor in the power, the ability to go out there and counter the naked leg kicks of Turkalj and the defensive laps that Turkalj has. But everything Turkalj throws is to close the distance, to walk forward, to eliminate that space that Petrino needs to work in. And Turkalj's going to try to wear you down the stretch. He's going to take you down over and over again. He's going to, again, he probably won't get you in the first time because he's isn't the best technically sound either, but he's going to do whatever it takes to take you down. He is relentless. He will go out there. He will do it, and he will do it well. I think he is a very good guy from top position as well, with submission offense, with some good ground and pound. And I think he's a guy who you want to be backing if you're looking for this fight to, against a guy like Petrino, who has not the best takedown defense or cardio. So to me, it's a 50-50 fight. I completely agree with the line, but when we're looking at, again, what type of fighter do you want to back at this day and age? A guy who is going to go out there and inflict damage with all his punches and probably win optically with the ability to finish at all times, or the grappler who is just going to fight relentlessly for all 3 rounds. It is completely 50-50. And in my write-up for Daily Fan MMA, I did pick Petrino to win due to his athleticism and his ability to knock people's heads off. But on DraftKings, I have more Turkalj because his path to victory is going to be takedown, baby finish from top control. For that reason, I don't mind the under. I'm with you on the under because if you're going to die to Jason Almeida, you're going to come out here with some vengeance. If you didn't get a contract because you fought a boring decision, you're going to get some vengeance. And I think he's going to come out here, try to wear in the gas tank of Petrino and make it a very, very fun fight. Gun to my head, I'm picking Petrino, but I'm cheering for Turkalj. And when I say I'm picking Petrino, that's like 51 to 49% due to athleticism and his power he has.
So why are we cheering for Turkalj?
The pleasure, man. In a fight where just the nickname, and in a fight where I don't have any financial involvement on picking a side, right? And I don't want to bet on a side. I want to cheer for the guy who I think is entertaining. Man.
Yeah,
and pleasure. Have you seen that hair?
That's hysterical.
Yes.
Yeah, I think he shaved it. God. But the hair is pretty luscious.
Did you see that interview he did where he said he just wants to pleasure people?
I mean, come on. How do you not love that? I mean, he's all about pleasure, man. So, hey, but Gordo, Thank you so much, dude. Really appreciate you. It was a bit short
Yeah,
notice.
the tax for
up,
tapping out is gonna be you're gonna have to come back again really soon.
I would love to come back and break down some fights, guys. I enjoy it every single time, and I apologize. It's not very nice and Canadian of me to leave like this, but this is a special occasion. I do have to go. If you mind, I would love to talk about a couple things with you guys, a couple fights.
Do it. What else do you got going?
Now coming up, I'm just gonna make this brief because I mean I got 4 minutes left here before I have to go. A couple fights that I want your opinion on, and really just the two I'm going to ask about is I'm picking Williams to win. I think he does pretty well. I'm picking Grant to win. I think he does very well. The talk of the town this week has been Cedric Dumas against Josh Fremd, and I know you will talk about that. But are you on an island with Josh Fremd, or are you playing into the chalk and the love that Cedric Dumas is getting?
I guess we're gonna touch on it a little bit. I got Dumas minus 150. So,
great line.
Yeah.
What about you, TD?
I'm heavy into that. I just think Fremd's defensive abilities are very negligible, and his takedown defense is the gilly. And I just think that, I mean, you literally have like a hardcore, legit hood street fighter that you've now given like, I don't know, 3 years of like legit training to. Like, he's gonna fucking kill you. So I just think Fremd's gonna play around.
I took Dumas in parlay with Jan.
I probably influenced that a little though.
Yeah, no, I mean, for sure. I trust my guru when he tells me something's strong, because there's sometimes where just like athleticism will close the gap, and he hasn't given me too much of a reason to be worried about his like gas tank. And he's shown me he's willing to offensively wrestle. He has like defensive grappling. And Fremd, the reason he's in the UFC is because he got a short notice call up,
right? Which
is
like
just likes taking short notice fights,
right?
So
All right,
go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like he literally gets, and we did it too versus Tresean Gore. He gets so much credit for not getting finished versus Anthony Hernandez, but Anthony Hernandez was supposed to fight 2 other guys before that, so it's a short notice fight for Anthony Hernandez too. And he doesn't use his hooks at all, Anthony Hernandez. Like, he just keeps fishing with his hands. Like, he doesn't lock his legs in and use his hooks. It was the fucking strangest thing I've ever seen for a high-level grappler. So
yeah, and I apologize for bringing that up early. But no. Not only am I being selfish by leaving, but I got selfish by ruining the show, getting ahead of time. So that's okay. No, that is a fight I'm very interested in hearing your thoughts in. And do not get me wrong.
What do you think now? Since you're so rude.
Oh, yeah, since I am so rude. Yeah, this is I don't want to assad on this one. I did my tape, and I thought that Cedric Dumas should be around a minus 130 favorite, because although he does have the skills, because he has the skills, we haven't seen it proven, and we haven't seen him extended against higher level of competition. We haven't seen him really dragged into these deep waters. And although I think he has very opportunistic skills that could do well against Fremd, I think Fremd is a guy who's going to be bigger, stronger, and look to bully him.
Wow!
But it's not a fight I want financial investment in. I think that. Yeah, I know, and
I'd like to see this stuff.
Yeah, that'd be a great idea. And guys, do not get me wrong. I'm going to come and I'm going to watch the rest of your breakdown. I'm excited to hear your thoughts on the rest of this. Once again, I apologize for leaving early, but much love to you guys, and I'm sure I'll be back in the future.
Have a great time and have a drink for us.
Sounds good. I will. Have a good one, guys.
Take care. All right. So
what a Canadian gentleman.
Yeah, and I got to tell you guys, as much as he's apologizing, he agreed to come on the show literally 2 days ago, because we had to make a scramble after some other stuff happened behind the scenes. So like for him to even be able to come on this quick in notice and do a full main card breakdown and get to the pleasure, man, you got to love that.
And somehow be so apologetic, like it's not even.
Yeah, right.
He's a man.
What a dude. All right. So, anyways, we got Łukasz the Bull Brzeski. Okay, I know it's a B up there. We're pronouncing it with a D. Okay, so Łukasz the Bull Brzeski.
Is it really
versus
Brzeski?
Yes,
sure?
yes. Like heavy D on all the broadcasts.
Oh my god,
everything.
D.
Heavy D.
You must
Guru
love it.
cannot relate.
You must love it.
Dude,
this show's about to fly off the rails. When was the last time it was just me and you?
Look out! Oh man! Oh boy! This is gonna get inspirational, baby. Let's go. And talk about real conversation. I think we're gonna get you guys are gonna see the real Guru and TB when we're not so respectful for our guests.
That's so true.
Oh baby, let's get it.
All right, so to tune in until they hang up.
So all right, Łukasz the Bull Brzeski versus Carl Weezer Williams. You got to be a Jimmy Neutron fan for that one. I love Ramos. But anyways, Carl's coming in. Yeah, so Carl Weezer Williams, baby. I mean, if he gets his wrestling game going here, he should be all right. But I mean, he's not facing a guy that's even a real true heavyweight, and that's why I'm kind of okay with it here. The first time he faces a real true heavyweight with some takedown defense, like it's all the way off the Weezer Williams train, okay? But at least for this fight, minus 215 from where the line opened at like minus 130 or something. Fuck that, respectfully. I'd love to see what the props are on like Williams by decision, Williams round 3 decision, Williams and over. So that's kind of like where I lean overall as far as the fight goes. But listen, would I be surprised if Brzeski just lands something big and like Williams just kind of had his flash in the pan on Contender Series as a big dog? I mean, what do you think?
I just think that because if he wanted to land something big, he had a chance to do that versus Martin Berdai for 15 minutes. And that dude's huge. You can't miss him. He's standing right in front of you. And he did not land anything big. It's like without his HGH hormone, and by the way, we're not making a joke. He was suspended for his Dana White Contender Series win was turned to a no contest due to hormone medication. So homie was off the sauce, and he came back. And how many strikes did he land versus Badai? He threw 268. He landed 116. Mind you, he landed at least 50 of them in round 1. So that shows you what he did in rounds 2 and 3. Homie just didn't do nothing. And he's got poor, he's got really poor, suspect takedown defense. He's very susceptible to the calf kick. He's flat-footed. He likes to brawl. He's good with like in and out of the pocket with his footwork. But somebody like Carl Williams doesn't really give a shit. And I lost some big money that I shouldn't have on Jimmy Lawson. I liked that the guy was from around here. I liked his wrestling credentials. I liked who he'd worked with. He was a decent-sized favorite. I'd gotten a good line. And dude got 30-27. The dude was a NCAA champion wrestler and at least NCAA Penn State wrestler and got absolutely mopped the floor with by Carl Williams. It was just really impressive. And Carl Williams shouts over the cage to Dana and the announcers and says that he couldn't train for the last 5 weeks for Dana White Contender Series because he had broken hand. He had a broken hand or broken hands. So he just comes out and actually throws them the fight. I mean, it's totally believable. People do that. Dude's a beast. So I think it's kind of the same thought I had with Pogues a few weeks ago. It's like when you get to these higher weight classes and you have the little bit of athleticism and the willingness to mix in the wrestling when none of these guys want to fucking wrestle, it makes a difference. So I like Carl Williams here. But I liked him like where it opened, like closer to pick him minus 130, not minus 200 on a guy making his debut. So I was wondering if in this interim you had pulled up the props that you'd like because DraftKings does have them.
Oh, yeah. So we've got Carl Williams by round 3 or decision is plus 130. I think that's much more reasonable for a guy that I don't think is capable of an early finish.
Dude, but that's what I'm saying. And maybe we're casuals, maybe we're plus money hunters, maybe whatever. But to me, when you find something like that, so instead of having to lay 2 full units to win one on the money line, you can lay a half a unit on a lower level play and still make good money. I mean, maybe it's just responsible gambling. I don't know. I'm really trying to hedge this shit out. I think that makes sense to me. Right? Like that's why you listen to us.
Oh, for sure. We're digging at grandma's couch cushions all day long. You know that. Come on.
But honestly, this might be more than a grandma's couch. Ooh. This may be like the double dipper into the grandma's couch. This might be.
This is grandma's armchair.
Right,
grandpa's armchair.
There too. Like this may be a.
He's got them dollar bills.
No, I'm just like this isn't a stab. I think that this may be a legitimate play.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Instead of the coins in grandma's couch, we're going for the full-on dollar bills that are falling out of grandpa's pocket. I like that. I get it, but it's still not a max type of play for me like my other parlays are. But I get it. I get it for sure. Because Williams, he should definitely win this fight. It quite simply. I can't take Brzeski here. I can't do it. What if he's a real heavyweight?
Wait just a minute.
Oh, wait a minute.
You don't even have to pick a side. you could just bet the fight to go the distance at plus 110.
The distance. I like that. I like that a
It's an
lot.
interesting thought.
All
Little
right.
heavyweight slot fest. I always like to find a little heavyweight slot fest, one per card. So this might be the one.
I like. All right. Well, we got Rafael Assuncao versus Davy Grant. So
This is one of
Davy
the
Dangerous
most,
Davy Grant.
This is one of the most interesting fights on the card. One of the ones I'm most excited to see, and one of the ones I'm like least interested in terms of like a bet. But
I don't know, man. So let
What
me
you
put
got
it
for
to
me?
you this way. I
Put it
got
to me.
Davy Grant here. Minus
Ooh.
140 is a solid ass price.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
talk to me about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, first of all, pace. Davy Grant is just about doubling up the pace of Assuncao. I think if this fight goes the distance, more than likely, it's not because Assuncao and his 12% control rate was offensively wrestling. The guy that throws less than 4 takedown attempts per 15, the guy that lands only 1 takedown per 15. Yeah, I don't think that, for all of his black belt and high level grappling, I don't think that we're seeing Assuncao win a decision with his offensive wrestling because it's not Victor Henry, right?
But the reverse of that is you don't see Davy Grant winning this fight with his offensive wrestling. So I just kind of think
I've seen Davy do it more often recently than I have
that's a
Assuncao.
well, that's a lie. Then you
Why?
because you didn't watch his fight. He had 270 seconds in his last fight versus Victor Henry, whereas Smolka had the same exact amount of control time as Davy Grant.
I'm talking about the Cheeto Vera fight where Davy Grant actually wins the first round and has a full like 3 to 4 minutes of control on Cheeto Vera. I know that Cheeto does that often, but at the same time, Davy Grant, if he's not feeling comfortable on the feet, has shown us 6 out of 9 takedowns on Gregory Popov, 2 out of 4 on Martin Day. If he's not fully comfortable on the feet, he will mix in the takedowns. I think he'll be more successful because he's much bigger than Assuncao.
Yeah, listen, I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate, and I'm
3-inch height, 3-inch reach, 2-inch leg reach, 3 years younger.
I'm just a little sketched, honestly, because I feel like, and I believe Prodigy had put it up on Twitter, I feel like everybody's on Davy Grant, right? So if I pull this up, like I just feel like everybody's on Davy Grant, yet the line is going the other way. Assuncao is now plus 115. Davy Grant is a minus 300 implied odds favorite using the Tapology's win percentage. So based on what people have selected so far, Assuncao showed that he's still got a good amount of fight in him with that last fight versus Victor Henry. I mean, he just waited on the outside and landed the more impactful strikes. And I just think that somebody like Davy Grant, who needs to use his reach, is somebody like kind of like you were saying earlier, TB, is just a type of fighter that fights a little too close. And at 37 years old himself, like he's just, I don't know where, like Dan Levy, shout out Dan Levy, responded to my tweet when I asked him, like, where has Davy Grant been the last 9 months? Like, where has he been? And he had a great win versus Smolka, didn't take too much damage, and he took a lot of time off. And Dan Levy says, oh, well, he had 2 wars versus Yanez and Vera, so he wanted to take some time off after getting the win. I mean, okay, that's fine, but like, no ring rust, like we're not worried about that at all.
No, because I mean, so if you look back earlier in his career, he only fought once a year for like 4 years, from 2018 where he fought Bermudez, then he fights Popov in 19, then he fights Day in 20, then he fights Martinez in 21, then he takes like 3 fights within a 1 year span. He takes like 4 fights within a 14-month span. So the dude's 37. Give him a little time to chill out. You know what I mean? Like, dude fought fucking Yanez and fucking Cheeto Vera back to fucking back. And those guys landed a combined 174 strikes on him. And Smolka landed 67 on him. And Smolka's a really good boxer.
Right.
But, I mean, also Davy Grant, the leg kicks debilitated Luis Smolka. And that's what forced him to end up shooting for that fateful takedown. He ends up using body head combos to take down Jonathan Martinez. He uses the same body head combos to take down Martin Day. I think his striking is developed enough. I think he's the younger guy,
Yeah, I
bigger,
really like the pace.
minus 140, bring it on. I don't need to take inside the distance or whatever. I think minus 140 is a good enough price. I think he should
What about the
be.
fight? What you don't feel? Have a feeling about the fight either way, whether it goes the distance or not? Because if you like it to not go,
I'd like Davey to knock him out, but he could submit us. So Davey inside the distance. What do we got on that? Let's
I mean, because I like the fight. Maybe just doesn't go the distance at all. Davey Grant's been finished a bunch of times in his
by
career.
who? When?
I mean, Davey Grant has 4 losses by submission.
By who? When? Was it like over 7 years ago? Because his grappling is really developed.
Manny Bermudez in 2018, Damian Stasik in 2016. I mean, he literally got submitted back to 3 times in a row, 3 losses in a row between 2013 and 2018. 5 years. I mean, a 5-year period where he's getting submitted 3 fights out of 4.
Yeah, that's a long time. So anyway,
and the one win in between, and the one win in between there is the Marlon Vera win, which is like, just kind of fucking, crazy, because what the fuck does that mean when you get smashed in the rematch?
I mean, Rafael Assuncao got double the fight time and only 1 more submission attempt in his career than Davey Grant. I don't think he's doing it.
I just think, and I'm really just playing devil's advocate, because I really did come into this loving Davey Grant.
Oh, well then
I just think that this is a really sketchy fucking fight. I really do. And it's one of the you really don't.
I really don't. I think that if Assuncao didn't get such a fucking stylistic layup in Victor Henry and a guy that has 0 threat to knock him out. I mean, Davey Grant inside the distance plus 200. Fuck you. Give me that.
All right.
So, I mean, listen, I think Davey could get a finish like Ricky, pretty Ricky. But yeah, fuck it. So here we go. Here's the Twitter diatribe of the week. SD Dumas versus Josh Fremd. Josh, am I turtly enough for the turtle?
Listen, we should really be honest that maybe we're jaded because Fremd cost us a terrible play with Gore, losing to Gore. But that he looked terrible in that fight.
Well, I think Dumas has showed me way more on tape than Gore.
I respect that. You're right. Like, we have some questions about whether Dumas can fight 15 minutes effectively, what he looks like trying to get up from bottom and things like that. But like, homie showed wrestling in his last game. Homie's multifaceted. And I just think he's
okay.
My dog, the GOAT.
Your dog.
Dude, he's my guy because I watched him on whatever. I was watching him on fucking Icon because I was like, oh, what's this shit when they finally came out. So I literally saw him live there. I'm like, that's fucking sick. Then he's a dog on Dana White Contender Series. I bet him fairly heavy. Cashed like in 15 seconds. I didn't even remember the fight. Choked the dude out like ridiculously fast. And that guy he was a favorite. He's a really good kickboxer. Like, it was supposed to be a fucking big fight for Gianni picked him, the Greek, so whatever the fuck that means. But I was very confident in Dumas, and he got the win. And now, everybody's fading him, or like everybody's off the train. Why? Because you've seen the line move. I mean, I've never seen so many people so sketched about 50 cents of line movement. That happens all the time.
Yeah, it's true. And quite frankly, I mean, Josh Fremd, I know we're giving him a lot of credit for his 2 UFC losses, but he also had 2 fucking losses on the regional scene. So it's not like he came into the UFC undefeated, winning on Contender Series like some guy. No, he was brought in on fucking 1 week notice to face Fluffy Hernandez, and oh my god, he didn't get finished.
Right. Which I thought was a big deal, and that's why I played him against Gore, and then Gore chokes you out, takes you down twice. Like, what the fuck? Like,
and why would you even go to wrestle in that spike, quite frankly? Terrible fight IQ. You're piecing him up on the feet. What the fuck are you wrestling for? And he goes for these takedowns, puts his head square in the middle. So, I mean,
I don't think that Fremd, I'm not sure that I agree with our man Gordo. I don't know that Fremd is going to be stronger than I just don't know that.
Yeah.
So like, the dude Dumas is fucking cut.
Like, Dumas is a little bit shorter, but he's got a bigger reach by 4 inches.
3.5. Yeah, 3.5 inches. Yeah. And I mean, he's got tons of fights on fucking World Star. Like, homie's out there, man. I just think that you're coming to take food out of his fucking mouth, and that's just not happening. Not if you're not good enough.
Also, if you're sketchy, he'll charge you $100 for an interview, and apparently
That apparently is not a thing.
Apparently, he's beat up women. I don't know. I don't.
That's not
I'm
bullshit.
not.
Fuck that.
Yeah, I'm not a detective, so unfortunately, unless he's in cuffs, I can't really speak more on it. So, but yeah, I think he wins the fight. So
he's gonna fucking
Guru's
smash
homie,
this guy.
Guru's dog.
That's my goat right there.
All right. So, anyways, we got Mario Bautista.
In case y'all forgot, that's why I wore John Bones Jones again, because he's the fucking goat. Y'all must have forgot. Like,
Jeez.
crazy.
Man, Chronic Combat, what, up 8 units last week? Fuck.
Yeah.
Bet MMA, dog. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you following us, man. We're putting in that fucking work. This year, we up, dog. Let's go.
Share it around, man. Share the show around.
All right. So, anyways, Bautista minus 975. Guru was begging me to throw him in a parlay last week as the final leg when he was still like minus 600 or whatever.
I begged.
He begged. I just Mario Bautista has been finished 2 times by 2 different methods in the UFC. One was against Corey Sandhagen, and one's against Trevin fucking Jones. Okay.
Yeah, that knockout was fucking sick.
No,
though.
but still, you think Guido Canetti doesn't have better technique and more output than Trevin Jones? So at minus 975, I'm all the way the fuck out. Give me over 1.5 at plus 140, but I'll pick Mario Bautista. He probably just wrestle fucks him for the guy that went to decision with Jay fucking Perrin. Okay, so
hey man, don't talk shit about my boy Jay Perrin either.
No, but I'm just saying, like let's be real. Is Mario Bautista a finisher normally? No, but you face a guy like Kelleher. That's I mean, maybe is Canetti Kelleher? Is he? He might be.
What
is Canetti gonna be as bad grappling as Kelleher?
I think he's worse. And Kelleher's
but
great.
Kelleher took his short notice.
Kelleher got rocked.
Yeah.
Like Kelleher has poor defensive striking. Kelleher's a great grappler.
Yeah, I think Canetti. I mean, he's
just not used to having better wrestlers. Guido Canetti, like, I think the big problem that like people are forgetting, like you're so worried about his fucking chin. Guido Canetti has is he gonna be able to keep it standing with his takedown defense? He's got to defend 3.5 takedowns per 15 minutes. Can he do that? Can he defend a takedown around? And a pace at distance at 13 strikes.
Yeah. I mean,
six landed strikes per minute. Heavy strikes.
Heavy.
2 knockdowns.
I mean, Canetti's defense is good though on paper. In practice, like on paper, he's got better efficiency.
So he's knocked out by Bakary, which is fair.
Yeah, I mean, that's
choked out by Chito Vera. Fair. Split decision loss to Mana Martinez.
Not
really that's fair, rough. Yeah. That's rough. Round 1 submission loss to Kung Ho Kang. Round 2 submission loss to Henry Barones.
Okay, so it's really just that he fought fucking Randy Costa and Chris Moutinho back to back. That's really
correct. And he gets into a bar, and Chris Moutinho gives him a layup. They both give him a layup in terms of exactly what he wants. A fucking brawl with 2 guys with a half a round of gas tank. Mario Bautista has plenty of gas tank. I mean, they're just juicing this guy up. They want his confidence all the way up. They want him on a nice fat 4-5 win streak till they feed him to somebody mean.
Yeah, no, I agree. And then we fade the Bautista train. Fair enough.
Exactly. It's certainly not fucking here. I think fight doesn't go the distance. If you're new, man, subscribe, like, share that around. What's fight doesn't go the distance?
Well, the over is 1.5. So
so I should just
yeah, I mean, let's take a look. I mean, I'll let you know, but yeah, they don't have any other props posted for this fight yet.
Fair enough. I kind of like a fight doesn't start round 3 idea.
Shout out to the boy Brian XBL on Twitch. This dude goes ahead, follows all your favorite handicappers, and actually keeps track of our picks percentage. And he's the man. So go follow him on Twitter. Make sure you follow him. So
yeah, bro. If you're actually still here right now, always double check my Instagram. My Instagram has my like official picks. Sometimes my Tapology is I fuck them up, but like Instagram.
All right.
Appreciate it.
So yeah, as long as you post them within a month of the fight.
Hey, they're always posted up on my story and saved into my little story things like on time.
Look at that. All right. And the GOAT will do it. What a fucking guy. So anyways, we got here's the second leg of my other parlay. So the first one was Piotr Jan and SD Dumas, and now we have JJ Aldrich at minus 365 versus Ariane, the queen of being violenced, Lipski. Yeah, I mean, she's been finished by
Everybody.
oh god, she's been finished by like
Priscilla
Antonina
Cat-
Shevchenko,
Priscilla
Montana
Cat
De La
Flair.
Rosa.
Montana De La Rosa, yep.
Yeah, the lowest of lows. Like, it's just, if you're getting finished by these fighters, I get it. You beat Mandy Bone by like, decision. Good job. You got the submission on Luana Carolina, who, what the fuck? Isabella de Padua, just not a UFC or even an MMA level fighter, if we're going to be completely frank. You face any type of legit level of competition. I'm talking about someone that won the first round on all three scorecards against Erin Blanchfield. Someone that actually landed 2 takedowns and stuffed 4 takedowns against Erin Blanchfield. I got fucking JJ Aldrich here inside the distance.
Fucking JJ Aldrich here.
Oh yeah, I'm fucking 5-head Aldrich here.
Yo, you're crazy
inside the
right
distance, under 2.5 plus 160. Give me that fucking money.
I was about to say that. You really think she's gonna get a finish? She like
yes, dead ass finish. She can take her down. She can do whatever the fuck she wants.
Dude,
JJ.
I need a submission play. I'm gonna check Bet365 while I look that up. But I mean, in her career, she has 2 KO wins and none by submission. She has 2 finishes of 11 fucking wins. It is suspect city, but let me check. I mean, if you can get some sort of like Alexa Grasso by submission type line, let me check.
Bet365 has all the lines up here.
I think they do. Yeah,
That's
why I like them, because they're up quicker than a lot of other places.
Ooh, okay. I did something very stupid on there, so
yeah.
I set my bet limit. My
first thing to come up,
$10.
Yeah, so it's not juicy enough. JJ Aldrich by finish on Bet365 is plus 190. So not quite juicy enough for me, for somebody that's never even won like in the UFC by finish. I don't think. Has she? No. So I actually even like JJ Aldrich by decision minus 110.
However, any women's MMA fighter that doesn't have a finish gets one against Lipski.
That's
Amen,
fair.
brother. Amen, brother.
Oh my God, taking us to Flavortown. I love the Avi.
Flavortown. So all right, here we go.
Out of bounds.
We're moving on to our next fight. We got Victor La Mangosta Henry versus Tony.
We looked it up last time. Do you remember what La Mangosta means?
No, I don't.
Mongoose.
The Mongoose. Victor the Mongoose Henry La Mangosta versus Tony Gravely.
Yeah, that's it.
Which Victor Henry do we get? And do we get boxing shoes Tony Gravely or wrestling shoes Tony Gravely? That's another question.
I wanna put on my boogie shoes.
So I'm gonna boogie on down to the bookie and place a 1 plus 120 bet on Tony Gravely. I think here. I just La Mangosta. You did your deal against Raoni Barcelos. It's just, I need you to have fight-ending power to give Gravely a problem. I need you to have super live submission abilities to give Tony Gravely a problem, or just like to be able to grind. And I just think that Henry got the type of fight he wanted against Raoni Barcelos, who just like needs to take breaks and just never got a chance to take a break. Whereas like when Henry goes in and faces a guy that's willing to like take him down and muscle him around and like throw power shots and like land with more power than like, and actually has speed. Like Tony Gravely's got some speed, but Yeah, he's a couple inches shorter, but he's got a 1 inch reach advantage.
Tony
Tony
Gravely,
Gravely, man.
Tony Gravely surviving versus Javi Basharat to me was actually impressive. I mean, it
Yeah.
showed how good Javi Basharat's wrestling is, but Tony Gravely's ability to keep wrestling, even though he's had some cardio concerns in the past, I thought that was a plus. Victor Henry, sporting a 75% takedown defense, has literally hasn't really he's faced seven takedowns from Hani Barcelos. He defended him, right? But I don't like Hani Barcelos is not the same level of wrestler or athlete that Tony Gravely is. And Tony Gravely is gonna be insistent that he's gonna keep shooting at 13 takedown attempts per 15 minutes, with a 47% control rate of his opponents. He will win this fight. He's the one dog this week that I feel like I think I picked all favorites so far. He's the one dog I am firmly on. I've been firmly on.
Good.
I don't even know that plus 120 is still available. I think he's plus 115 now.
I hate to be that guy. He loses one, wins two, loses one, wins two, loses one. Here we go. We're
Time
about to
to
win
fight.
two. So
I love it. Now you got to bet your house on it.
yeah, I'm literally going to be homeless next week thanks to Tony Gravely. So
Jesus Christ.
Fuck. All right. So next fight, flyweight division, Tyson Nam plus 165, Bruno the Bulldog Silva, not Blindado. We got the Bulldog Silva coming in ready to fight because he's from Fight Ready. Yeah, so I mean, ultimately, I think minus 195 is a bit psycho, but like Gordo was talking about before, it's like at the same time, like I do expect him to win the fight more often than not, especially out of an amazing camp like Fight Ready with the type of game planning and coaching he's getting down there and the developments he showed in his fight since, suffering a couple losses here and there. But Tyson Nam is just so dangerous whenever the fight. And at any point he could land it, but I think
kind of, right? So he's got the power, but don't let that pace at distance stat fool you. Look at his distance landed strikes like per minute. 3. Homie does not strike. He does not land. He has to hit you perfectly square. And to his credit, he's done it for his 3 UFC wins. But if you look a little bit closer, he knocks out Zaruk Adeshev in 32 seconds, who all he has to do is try to close that distance, and he's a striker and he stings. So he runs straight into a fucking counter right. Then you've got Jerome Rivera, who may be one of the worst signings in UFC history.
My God.
And you've got Ode Osborne, who is not still, I don't even like, he gets a sick Charles Johnson on short notice, can barely beat him. I don't even know if he does. Whatever. Maybe I'm salty. But against Tyson Nam, he video game controlled, throws a flying knee for no reason, a jump knee from a million miles out, and Tyson Nam just smashes him and he's asleep. It was fucking hysterical. Except it cost me money. Point being, I just think Bruno Silva is somebody that's way more well-rounded. And, again, with 100% takedown defense for Tyson Nam, nobody's tried to wrestle with him. Nobody. Just Kai Kara France. He went for 4 takedown attempts a long time ago. That's it. Nobody's tried to wrestle this guy. Christ. So this is the first time he's absolutely going to face 9 takedown attempts per 15 minutes. He's going to face a bunch of them. He's going to get smashed. Tyson Nam has got almost no chance at this. I have a play on Bruno Silva minus 170.
Okay.
So I wish I could have got more down, but that's what I got. And I like Bruno Silva to win. I like Bruno Silva probably by decision because Tyson Nam is tough to finish.
I can dig on that, and there's no need to play a minus like almost 200 if you're not sure they're going to get the finish. So here we go. Last fight.
At least at the money line.
Slapped together on my way to work today. So ran home, scrambled, put in the stats.
You got all the fights in?
All the fights in.
Wow.
I'm a fucking savage. Okay. I did this in a 20 minute.
He's classy. He's bougie, and he's ratchet. He's a savage.
Okay. So Carlston Harris.
We don't have a line.
No, we don't. This fight
Crazy.
still isn't even taken down. The Abu Bakar Nurmagomedov still isn't taken down from UFC stats. That's how fresh this matchup
I'll
is.
take you down.
Ooh, funky fresh. He threatens that, but he can't do anything with top control anyway. So it's all good.
No, I can't. I gotta take some jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu. But yeah, so Carlston Harris here. I mean, yeah, getting the short notice opponent, but I think
Let's just
honestly,
finish this up. Carlston Harris. He gets the dub. Easy money.
oh,
Easy money. Easy money dub.
wow, okay.
Jared Gooden stinky, smelly poopies. He's not good. Like I respect Jared Gooden for winning 4 of his last 5 to get back to the UFC, but like homie got knocked out by Impa Kasanganay while off the UFC in his interim, and he also lost the decision to Curtis Millender, who is also a UFC vet and Bellator vet, and just it's bad looks. Jared Gooden is still the same guy. He's flat-footed. He stands straight up. He just wants to punt. He just wants to try to knock you out, and that's basically all he can do. And he very rarely does that. He's 11 KOs, 7 subs, 5 decisions. Like and you have to think like his last wins, like one of them is by stomp. You can't stomp in the UFC. Like that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me that you just won your last fight, but in the United Fight League, the fight that's doing those medical fully fight benefits or whatever, like you won by stomp in round 2. Like cool. You won your other fight in Dan Levy's NFC by injury.
I don't think
he actually beat Curtis Millender. He didn't lose to Curtis.
Yeah, I'll say Jared Gooden isn't as bad as you're making it out to be, and I think he's
not impressed.
Yeah, I mean the short notice aspect is kind of this is like him taking his ticket back into the UFC,
right?
And if it's like plus 300 or more, I'll be tempted for sure.
And it's honestly a great fight that makes sense because Jared Gooden lost to Abubakar Nurmagomedov, so that's who Carlston Harris was going to fight. So if you can't beat Jared Gooden, you shouldn't be fighting Abubakar anyway. He's going to win. Like getting knocked out by a spin kick from Shavkat Rakhmonov does not mean that you're liable to get chin checked by Jared Gooden on 3 days' notice. I'm sorry.
All right, fair enough. So
and honestly, when this line opens up, it's going to be mad disrespectful to Gooden. So I understand anybody that takes a shot on Gooden at like +2, +300. But I like Carlston Harris to get it done here.
That's fair.
And is there a chance? And Carlston Harris isn't going to grapple though, so they're going to be striking the whole time. So I just think that, Carlston Harris is going to fuck him up.
All right. Well, I mean, without further ado, really appreciate you guys. But we're a couple of hardworking boys that put in a lot of hours. So
TB's been putting in a ton, guys, with school and being whipped.
If I may. All right. If I may here.
And you do all the spreadsheet stuff. So let's
give the people a little background.
Listen, I always say give it up to my hardworking co-host.
Let's just lay it down for the people here.
Oh, you lay it down.
Let's lay it down. So first off, without any of you guys, none of it would matter. So I just want to say thank you to all the people live up in the chat. Mushroom, Daz, XBL, Jared Curry, Justin, like everyone that's always here, Danny Lags, like we love all you guys. That's the first thing. And number 2 is like, dude, I've been fucking grinding like a motherfucker. And one of my like chief concerns week by week with everything I got going on in my life is to make sure all the stats are updated for every fight, make sure we got our profiles together, make sure we got a beautiful slideshow, make sure everything's all good to go. And Guru is the dog. Wouldn't be doing this without him. That's all. You the dog. I mean, he the dog. He helps me out here and there for show, but just I mean,
here and there
for show.
Oh my god. All right. On that note, guys, we are gonna check out of here. You can follow me at Guru Scouting MMA, Twitter, Verdict, Instagram, and Tapology. My unbelievably hardworking co-host, TB Scouting MMA. Make sure you check him out. Twitter Verdict, Instagram, and Tapology. Next week. Unbelievable. I can't believe it's been like 6 months already. Can you believe that?
Fuck.
UFC 286. Leon Edwards, the champion,
Fuck.
taking on Kamaru Usman, the challenger in their
Oh,
trilogy.
fuck.
Unbelievable. I'll be in Florida. You'll be something crazy. It's at noon, and it's a 1 o'clock in the afternoon fight because it's in London.
Oh, baby.
Can't wait. Who do we got on?
It's Mr. Andrew Gambus, right?
Oh my God, we got Mr. Andrew Gamas. Bets and
Happy
picks.
birthday.
Happy birthday. Gonna have him on next week. Can't wait. So let's get the fuck out of here. See you guys later.